Okay, so what is one of the biggest struggles that you had being a part of this blended family?
Probably being seen. I felt like.
Being seen.
That's real.
Okay.
Why?
I mean, well, the upper four. Or
The upper four, like the upper room. Yeah.
In
Yeah.
the upper four.
Yeah.
Please,
That's
we
real.
just need porridge.
Sprinkle down some morsels to us. Henceforth, my brother.
I don't know. The three of you on here at one time. Calvin, I know that I'm going to make it. I don't know.
Just dribbling some drops of water.
Thine hands are crackling.
Okay, so Dawson, keep going. I'm gonna have to rein you three in. Oh God.
She like, whoa, Nelly, whoa. Come back.
but I mean, with
Scrape the bottom of the lotion box.
I did that this morning.
Focus, people. Focus. Welcome to my life. Welcome.
Oh my God.
And Gabby refused to come help save me in this episode, so I don't even have another brain of
she
in
like,
her. Right? So
That ain't got nothing to do with me.
I don't
All
even
right.
live here.
So,
yeah, being seen with the upper four, always engaging in extracurriculars or just nonsense. Like mom and dad always kind of had their hands full. So
that's fair.
Yeah.
I would, when I was younger, I would have soccer games all the time, and it just felt like the most important times where I had a game or like the coolest thing happened to me, they weren't there, and like it just hurt.
Nah, I know what he's referring to. The one
not
game.
Gabby and Doc, or us, or
No.
mom
No,
and dad.
mom and dad.
Boy,
We
as
were
many
at-
miles
yeah,
as
we
we
were-
cracked on
I
that Chevy van.
was saying.
Yeah, no, I know I know the one in particular that Shadows. See, this is what
When
happened.
he made the goal.
Yes, when he kicked the soccer ball
So-
as goalie and
right.
made a goal as goalie, and I can't even remember why we were not at that
Well,
particular
he's
game.
probably one of the upper four.
But-
in the upper four. So, just a shout out to my son. He is an exceptional and has been an exceptional soccer player since the first day he hit the field.
Yeah, Dawson's turn.
I remember that them dropping the ball and he was like, what do I do? I'm like, you kick it. And he ran all down the field, all between everybody and made a goal. And ever since then, I think he was about that tall. And ever since then, he has been a beast when it comes to soccer. You know, he's excelled in everything he's touched.
Besides machine design and thermo, but
He just got a bad grade, y'all.
Dawson.
He's
Dude, Dawson
That is
goes
not
to-
a bad- just
Dawson
relax.
goes to an engineering school in Daytona Beach, Florida. Dude is like
the
off
elite.
the Richter
Aeronautical
scale.
and
He ain't the
engineering,
elite.
yeah.
Won't ever be an elite.
okay. Clarification: it is
It's
Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University.
Well, I didn't know if you wanted us to put your stuff out there, so that's
And
why I said
I am studying mechanical engineering, and I just finished my fall semester junior year.
And he's mechanically
He's been
engineered.
on Dean's List, right?
Dean's List since high school, and this is this semester.
That's my boy. Go
This
on.
is the first semester ever where I've gotten a C for a grade, but you know that
He's-
can, that
And
can
it's
be-
making him clench his cheeks.
Right. After this episode, he will be shunned for that.
Get up here, boy. No, okay, so
Cut that
boom.
graph with
I
them
think that is
scissors.
actually a really interesting perspective, though, Dawson, because us, the older four, thought that mom and dad's lives revolved around y'all. Like when
Ooh.
y'all came, we felt like we were just not existent, because we had to. I felt like everything was just more so. No, for real. Like I felt like everything was so like Gabby and Dawson, Gabby and Dawson. We have to make sure Gabby and Dawson's good. We have to do everything for Gabby and Dawson. Like, you know, birthday, like for example, our birthday parties, we would have all of our cousins. They birthday parties, they got to invite their friends. And it's like, so we just felt like it was just like Gabby and Dawson land because they were the product of the ours portion of yours, mine, and ours. So we kind of felt like you guys got like the buttered side of the bread.
I'm
when it
sorry,
came to
you
guys.
had friends over for your birthday parties as well,
When I
and
was
lots of them.
16.
prior to 16, and we've got video of it. Swimming pools and
Remember
hot
that time you was
dogs
eating
and
them hot dogs like
you got to choose who you wanted to come for your birthday parties. Yes, ma'am, you did.
I couldn't choose. They chose for me. I said who I wanted, and only 2 or 3 of them were able to come.
At the end of the day, everybody has their own respective truth. So
They
it doesn't.
Everyone does have their own respective truths, but we can't dim people's lives. I
So
didn't have
Jayla
friends
gave
that
us
came over.
it sounds like you're saying you gave us a list and we was like, fill out this application. Like, nope, you don't pass. Next, nope, you don't pass.
Quite literally. That's why I never had friends come over. At Paris, Donisha, all those girls that came over that one day for cheerleading
That ain't my
practice,
fault.
the next day they tried to jump me
Because
because they
of us?
thought I was trying to act funny, but I never brought people over. I because there was Donisha and Paris. That's the only 2 girls, and Helena Cole.
But why didn't you bring people over though?
Because I couldn't bring people over.
That is not correct.
That is correct.
How could you bring people over but not bring people over? It doesn't. That doesn't
the
even
people
make sense.
I wanted to come over outside of them 3, y'all wouldn't. Y'all, we not doing, like y'all have literally told me that, and I couldn't go to people's house outside of my cousins. I could barely go over their house. So
Well, that's a safety issue, and you're a female, and so
I
there's
couldn't even go to a party all 4 of my brothers was going to because I was in high school and they was in high school.
Okay,
And y'all was like, well, you're a girl and they're boys. But I'm like, yeah, but my brothers are going.
Well, they was wimps back then, so we.
yeah.
Dom had anger
that is
issues
so
back then,
rude.
so he was going to whoop anybody. What are you talking about? Jayla
why
had
would
just
you
beat up
even say
CJ
that?
in the freaking parking
Okay,
lot.
can we
Are you
not-
kidding me?
Okay, all right, fine.
Okay,
Oh
anyway,
my God.
So
That
we thought mom and dad's
Did you just
world.
say that? Jayla.
They were not wimps, for the record, because if they see this, then we got to square up. I got to put out more quarters. But I hear you. I'm going to.
It don't matter. It's
I'm
neither
gonna
here
agree
nor
to
there. And that's
disagree.
why I'm a lone wolf now, to be completely honest. Anyway, so we thought that mom and dad's life revolved around Gabby and Dawson, and they made our lives revolve around Gabby and Dawson because we drove, so we had to pick them up from practice, take them to practice, dance recitals that you on Stevenson. What's that little dance place? You remember?
I remember that. Yeah.
We had to pick Gabby up from that. So we
Gabby
felt
had
like
ballet and tap lessons.
Gabby had ballet.
So we just
That was
felt
her
like,
first
you know,
activity.
when there was games, we had to make sure everybody was in attendance, recitals, gymnastics.
We're made to be the wolves here in this conversation.
Y'all always say that, but regardless, so it's interesting to hear that you feel like their world revolved around us because we felt like they were revolved around y'all.
Well, at the end of the day, we were all children back then. So I think perspective and selective memory plays a very large part in how.
Well, there's that,
feelings
but I also feels
change.
like it also is a testament of the fact that low-key they was involved in all of our lives.
Yeah.
True statement. What? Clock it.
Clock it, for sure. Was never no deadbeats, period. So
That's your child.
what is what was a major turning point for you? Because you previously talked about how you emotionally didn't really like us, but you didn't expound on it, but like you were having a hard time with us. So what was the turning point for you? And how were those relationships mended for you, being a part of this family?
I mean, for the longest time, I was just mad at the world after we moved. And being in high school up here and everything, and going to high school with like 3,000 plus people, it's very easy to lose yourself and not find a solid group. And, you know, I was mad at Gabby in particular because it seemed like her social life always was a lot easier and a lot better than mine.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, as I got geared up to like figure out what I want to do with my life after I graduated high school, because like I remember for a time I didn't even want to go to college, and like mom and dad were getting on me because of that. So then I decided, you know, I'm gonna just go anyway. And I found out about Riddle because they sent me a postcard. So I researched it and I found it was in Daytona, and then they took me on a tour. And I was like, you know what, I actually really like it here. And like back then, it was also me just wanting to get away from everything here.
Mm-hmm.
So after like the first semester of college and like that first year, or not even the first year, but just that first semester, and like where I was mentally, physically, and emotionally versus a lot of people around me, I'm like, these jokers are messed up. And it seems like I was a lot more on my square because of the way that they prepared me to be ready for the real world. And I was realizing more and more that like I shouldn't be mad at them for the way that people were treating me, or like just the way that the world was. And I felt like my anger was misplaced towards a lot of people. So, I mean, over time, I just realized like a lot of things they would tell me as a kid. Like I guarantee you, every time your parent says, you won't listen to me now, but when it happens in the future, I promise you, that day,
when you get older.
yeah, that day is going to come. And a lot of them days were happening that first year and a half in college. And I was just like, wow.
Go into your room.
Why do they gotta be right? No.
No, for real.
But, I remember multiple times where I would just call them during my spring semester. And I'll just be like, man, life is rough and I miss y'all. But I thank y'all so much for being in my life and, making sure I'm all right. And to answer your question, I'd say freshman year of college in total is when I changed my viewpoint about this family. And since then, especially that winter break when we had that Christmas, I think that was my favorite Christmas ever.
What Christmas?
We had the photo shoots and like we had the gingerbread
gingerbread house competition,
Oh, yeah.
matching pajamas.
Those traveling trips meant nothing to you?
No,
family.
I mean they were nice and all, but like even still, when we went on cruises, like bought.
We were all doing our own thing.
Yeah, we were always
weren't really
all doing our own
together.
thing.
I got you.
It's being
So-
home together.
Right,
Yeah.
just the family camaraderie.
So you didn't think the Christmas when we went to Florida and we had that one house with the
vacation house. That one was also nice and raw, but like even still, there was a disconnect between me and y'all because y'all. It always felt
we
like,
did feel like you were just. I feel like at a certain between all of us, we've all had say except for Dom, which is interesting.
The golden child.
Yeah.
That's probably what it was. Seriously, but we've all had different stages. Like all of us collectively was like, all right, Eric. All of us collectively was like, all right, Jalen. And I'm sure everybody was collectively like, all right, Jayla. With me, we be doing that with Gabby, and we did it with you. We did it with you the longest.
Yeah.
No, but for real, because I feel like you used to be so mad at us. And we be like, gee, we don't. I feel like we felt like you was mad at us because of whatever you were mad at us for, and we was mad at you because we don't care that you're weird. And it's like Dawson's not like a weird like stand over you while you're asleep. No, he actually he would actually do something like that.
Right.
But Dawson is just like he's a very smart person. So smart people are generally looked at as weird or like lames or whatever. Like, and we're just like, dude, we don't care that you're weird, but like just don't be someone that you're not.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's a thing. A running theme with our family when people come over, like we read people quickly, very quickly, and when you come through that door, we can see you trying to be somebody that you're not trying to be, and I feel like something that has held us so close together for so long is because we are able to be ourselves around each other, the good, the bad, the ugly, and we'll tell each other about ourselves. And I feel like Dawson, his skin wasn't as thick as ours.
Mm-hmm.
That's correct.
Yeah.
I just feel like he internalized everything and took it as we hate him. But it's like, bruh, like we all are freaking weird. We all, in our own respective rights, like we all have stuff about us. We all have quirks. And so I feel like now hindsight's 2020. Maybe we were unnecessarily bullying you. Like, we already had preconceived notions like, oh, here come Dawson. He gonna start being Dawson. So, you know, we call it Dawsoning, but it's just like, as you got older, I always told you, when you go to college, like, you are going to be good because you're going to be around people that think like you, because he's got an old soul.
Yeah.
He thinks like no other child. Like he said, like, he doesn't do drugs and alcohol. And drugs don't always have to be meth and cocaine. It can be weed. Anyway, sorry. But, like, you know, he never fit in with status quo, because he's not status quo. Dawson is Dawson. He's an individual. But I will say I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud of your growth. I'm very proud of just the time you've taken to assess who you are, what you like, what you don't like, what you want, what you don't want. And it's great to see that you're accepting yourself and you're loving yourself and you're coming into yourself. You still be annoying, but you're a sibling and siblings are annoying.
Yeah. Still working out the kinks on a couple of things.
Do you have any questions for mom and dad?
About what?
I'm like, that is extremely open-ended, huh?
Right. No,
Like,
don't ask certain questions, boy.
Yeah.
Do you have questions for mom and dad about just something that you've never asked them about, like how you felt about something as you were growing up?
No, I mean, because I think, especially when we were going through therapy with Miss Dion, everything was out in the open.
You heard that word, therapy.
Therapy.
Y'all, everyone needs therapy.
Yep.
I was in therapy with Miss Dion for like, what, 7 years? 6, 7 years?
4.5. He was just there.
Sitting on the couch.
He actually went there.
But, I mean, I don't really have any more questions. And even if I don't have the answers to everything, I don't think anybody wants the answers to everything.
I agree with that.
Because it's just not fun. Absolute truth is never a good thing. Honestly.
I mean, it can be. It
I
can
would say
be.
it's relative.
Yeah, it just depends on what the context is.
Because I would rather you hurt my feelings by telling me the truth than lie to me and I find out. Then you gonna wake up dead.
How you wake up dead?
Oh my goodness. Why do we have to be so dramatic?
I woke up dead. I'm crying. What's your favorite memory being a part of this family?
Oof.
Besides the Christmas that you...
I was about to say, definitely not Christmas.
And we won the gingerbread contest. Let's be clear.
Bruh, no, y'all didn't.
Yes, we did.
Bro, we running it back. Actually, we have more games this year.
Okay,
I'm not playing
fine.
with y'all.
So we turned up for Christmas, y'all, just to be sure. I mean,
Not
just so
really. Like, we be chilling. But this year,
No, we
it's
don't.
up.
Okay, we gonna see.
Dad's 50th birthday, when we held a surprise party for him at the banquet hall, and Mom brought him in, and then we opened the door, and he's like, "I'm so done with you." And everybody said happy birthday that Christmas. And then...
Wait. While you thinking, what about the COVID puzzle?
No.
You
That
know
thing
one?
pissed me
yeah.
off.
We were up for 42 hours putting together 1,500.
No food, running off the spit, no water,
Yeah, crumbs.
arguing. Right.
No, this piece goes there. No, it goes there.
Jesus.
I don't know, man. I mean, I think at the end of the day, like, just any time that we weren't really doing much, but just kicking
Being
it
together.
Yeah, that's what I always liked, because I've come to realize that, you know, a part of the reason why it was hard for me to make friends was because I always had y'all when I was a kid. Like, I always had cousins growing up, so I didn't need to really have friends. I only had like 1 or 2 white boys. And then what?
Be polite.
Are they not white? They are white boys.
I had Austin and Max in Springfield, and then Max moved to Indiana, and then Austin was still there, and then we moved, and then up here, I just kind of perused around.
I said peruse. I'll have this one. That one.
Yeah,
This one.
I just kind of perused around
Stand up, boy.
everything.
Let me see your hair.
You
And
use
then-
too much gel. Next.
When I went down to college, I mean, I found more people there. And I definitely say after this semester, I feel a lot. This is the most I felt in tune with people that are like me. Because, like, we were all complaining about the same classes. Like, we're all just joking around and helping each other out. And, like, it was a really cool thing to experience. Mm-hmm. But I definitely didn't have that outside of y'all as a kid. So
That makes a lot of sense. I never looked at it that way, but that makes a lot of sense.
Well, and I think that the one of the things when we went on your college tour,
And we
when
went
you
on many tours.
when you all were growing up, like, to me, my perception of who you and Gabby, both of you was that you were extroverts because you were that way at home, right? Mm-hmm. And like, we never had any issues at school. Your teachers always talked about how great you were, how friendly, how kind, how helpful. You had soccer, you had your soccer friends, and so when we transitioned up here, though, I did not realize that how much of an introvert you were until we went on that college tour for Embry-Riddle. Because you remember, Dawson, when I was like, Dawson, go talk to them.
The one girl.
And you were like, no, I'm good. And I'm like, Dawson, just go. Like, people were trying to interact with you and you were like, no. And I was like, and the light bulb never went off. And I felt horrible because I felt like I had missed that I thought that you were this extroverted person and did not realize how introverted you were until we were on that tour. And I was watching, I just fell back and was watching you not interact with people and you going, I'm
Why
good.
Why did you feel bad?
Because I felt like I should have known earlier, because I feel like, because you can't, a lot of times you can't do better if you don't know better.
But
if you don't know that it's an issue. No. But it's something that if it had been identified earlier, we could have worked through that, with therapy. We could have, well, you could talk about it, address it. There are things that you can, if you identify a problem, you can at least try to solve it or try to adjust and deal with it in a different way.
But if you think about it, we are all like that.
And again, I thought Gabby was an extrovert as well until, like, I feel like she transitioned too, right? Like, she's a different person now than what my younger version.
Of, like, growing up, like he said, like, you got 98 million kids in the house. So we turn. Yeah. Then when we got to go outside, it's just like.
I know, but so that's my point. My point is this. My point is that, with a large family and with our large blended family and with all of the different layers, it masked the reality of who my kids were in a way that I didn't really know and understand who my kids were until they were leaving this house to a large extent. I'm talking specifically about Dawson and Gabby, right? From a foundational personality character perspective. And so I did feel bad because this is one of the reasons why we talk about, I thought I was going to make it.
You better.
Why we talk about
your mascara gonna run. You better not cry.
Talk to your kids and pay attention no matter what size your family is, right? Because
I was looking. Pass me that.
If you don't, what you're seeing at home doesn't mean that that's what's happening outside. Mm-hmm. And so even when you were going through what you were struggling through, I think we thought it was all really tied to we knew it was social, right? We knew that you were having, but we didn't get all the way to the root of that thing. And so once we went on that tour, and it just was like, it hit me like a ton of bricks to watch. And I was like, whoa, you're like a real introvert, which was just weird to me because I had never seen you that way, Dawson, right? I had never seen you because at home you're bubbly, you're fun, you're laughing, you're doing jokes, you're talking like you were. It was never who I saw on that campus that day on that campus tour was not the kid that I had seen grow up in my house.
Did it break your heart or something? Like
it hurt me a lot as far as had I known earlier. It would have, what he was going through would have made more sense to me earlier.
I see.
Oh, so you feel like you wouldn't have
and
been
then
like, boy.
Well, and I wasn't ever really like that with Dawson. I never, other people was like, cut it out.
All like, all right now.
And I think, whatever. And boy, don't you the camera go off. But I think, Jessica, you're right in saying it would have made more sense. But I don't know that we couldn't have handled it or impressed upon him you got to change.
Well, no, it's not about change. Just sometimes you get it's you then can get help and go, okay, well, no, because
I'm gonna tell you
so
right now that it wouldn't help. That because
I'm saying
listen.
there's
me, Eric, Dom, Jalen, Tyrone, you, Gabby, and Dawson. We all do that. We are all at home. We be in our zone. Let me not. You are actually a very extroverted person. You're very extroverted.
All the time.
But the rest of us, when we get outside, we be like
crickets. He said crickets.
Unless we're all together. Like if we all go out to eat together, we're all kicking and stuff, and then the waiter come up, we all like,
Can we help you?
Right.
But I feel like
but my point to all of that is that in blended families, in big families, and in blended families
which
too,
are bigger,
which we're big and blended.
Yeah,
we're big, we're black, we're blended. We got all these layers of all of that, right?
Group.
But the point so getting back to one of the things that we want to help other families kind of dive and dig on, when you said you felt unseen, right? And so that's what I'm piggybacking on. That had I understood that differently sooner, assessing options for, help and intervention and whatnot.
You like that because of Jaylen?
Say it again.
Do you feel like it's affecting you? How it's affecting you because of Jaylen? Because you feel like Jaylen felt like he was unseen?
Jaylen feeling unseen had a different root and context than Dawson feeling unseen.
I understand that, but I'm saying, do you feel like it's affecting you? How it's affecting you? Because how Jaylen felt.
I don't lump it to, I don't see it as the same thing. You know what I mean? Jaylen's issue was tied to something different. It was tied to literally the roots of being in a blended family and in the struggles of
his is as well.
No. I mean, but
from the root of his dad and
all of that. Him feeling like I abandoned him as his his mom, his biological mom. Him struggling to bond with his bonus dad, with Ty. Him feeling like his bio dad abandoned him. Like all of those things are the roots of Jaylen feeling unseen, right? And the hurts that he went through. Where with Dawson, as we're discussing, we were right here in the house. He had us. It was more how do you, as a blended family, as a complex blended family, these are complex dynamics, right? How do you figure out being intentional to give each one of your children? So we had, again, if we do the definitions, yours, mine, and ours, how do you make sure that you are being purposeful and intentional about addressing the needs of the categories of children that live full-time or come part-time to your home, to do your best to address those issues up front to prevent, because what Dawson went through it was deep, it was heavy, and it was long.
Mm-hmm.
And I am so grateful. I'm so grateful that he came out on the other side healthy, because a lot of kids don't. A lot of kids don't.
So if we could pause there just for a second. So Mom is talking about you coming out on the other side, and you were just talking about you coming out on the other side, and not so much as from what she said, but now that you are on the other side, how do you think your siblings and us played a part in that? Really?
we built you down and picked you up. Broke you down and picked you up. Okay. But for real.
Like I said before, a lot of my anger was misplaced. And, I mean, I had to go through everything on my own to figure out what being me meant and just living meant. So then I would occasionally reach out to Jayla or Dominic or Jalen for advice or something. And
I was going to ask, did you make the rounds? So that's cool.
I mean, with Eric, me and Eric, I think it's just the age gap.
We're gonna have to work on getting Eric on here, because Eric's like the mystery child. Eric's like,
He's in
Eric
Botswana.
Is
He'll be back. He walked to Europe.
What? Where do you come up with this stuff?
I sat on the side of the plane.
But, like, I mean, originally I felt like, yeah, all of y'all were against me, and then I kind of kicked myself out of the family. So I just do everything on my own.
He just pulled a parachute.
Dawson used to go in his room, close the door, and be like, everyone's against me. My back's against the wall. No, seriously.
So I would literally just go
World
in there
domination
and just be
planning
like,
in his room.
Oh my
Where?
So I'm gonna ask you, and I know we're getting close on time, but I'm gonna ask you a very sensitive question. I'm just gonna ask it. I know that you and your baby sister had some challenges, and the two of you are biological to us.
Mm-hmm.
Two-part. What do you think you attributed to that, and where are you now with that?
With the challenges?
Yeah, I mean, what do you think attributed to that? Because you're ours, she's your biological sister. Do you think the forces of the blended piece impacted that?
He said what attributed to it.
Yeah, I was like, he said that earlier.
Did I miss it?
You did. It didn't. It had to deal with
the social.
Yeah.
Aspect.
Yeah. Okay, my bad.
Yeah.
That's kind of when they split, because they were. I
mean,
mean,
it
I
could
feel
be- it
like
could
y'all
be
were.
more.
It could be
They
different.
were stick as
but-
thieves. I remember that because they took that camera and made iCarly videos over my birthday thing, and I never got to see, because I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna sit down and watch this, and all of a sudden I saw Gabby's face. iCarly, and I'm like,
Popping in the camera. Hey! That's
I'm
like,
like-
what is this? All you see is the birthday cake coming out there.
So for those of you watching, Dawson and Gabby have been super smart since day one.
they popped
And
out
they figured out literally when they were like 2 and 3 years old how to go get the camcorder, and they would go in our closet at our old house in Springfield,
And
and
just
they would
make
record. They
movies.
used to watch iCarly,
they would
and they would go make their own iCarly videos.
Real ones know iCarly. Yep, we all did it. Some of us had cameras.
And
some of
so
us-
they actually, at one point, they recorded over some very sentimental birthday well wishes from a surprise party
So
for
we just
Tyrone.
keep the tape, whole
How do
thing.
wait? You had more than one surprise party in your life?
But that was like in Springfield when he didn't know that. I think that was the one like
Yeah,
when
Dad-
The
we
one with
had
the lawnmower.
no.
Hey, that was a good birthday.
sorry.
When he got that ride more, we was all like, "Let us get on it." Never wanted to cut the grass.
But
so
anyway,
we got
back
that.
to
So
Dawson.
where do you think that is today?
Well, hold on, wait. Do you think it was just a social aspect that it attributed to y'all's or your disdain towards her at the moment?
What?
I had
mean,
a disdain
okay.
towards her.
At that time.
Okay. The social stuff was in middle school and high school. Before that, I think it was because I felt like I would always get blamed for everything that went wrong. Or like, I mean, generally, yeah, I would do stuff to aggravate Gabby.
I was like, because according to my sources,
I
you
The
were
Inquirer.
torturing my baby and messing with her in a not nice way.
Yeah, I do accept and confirm that I.
Gabby's like,
We got 4952 over here.
I would be mean. I get that, and I'd be mean. But after a certain point, I realized like that it's mean. Like I got that sentient consciousness. When I was
year?
no, before I was 10, like
Oh, so you just kept doing it.
no.
I have come to a conclusion to continue my despiteful ways.
After realizing that like being mean to Gabby equals spankings from dad, I was like, I shouldn't do this anymore. But sometimes Gabby would just egg it on. And then we would just get into a groove of going back and forth, arguing with each other. And I mean,
so I think so. As the point of your question, Ty, you're asking, did us being a blended family, what was any
Did that affect?
did that impact the strain of you and Gabby's relationship? Given that if from a hypothetical perspective, one might assume or think that the two you know what I'm saying, you two are the ours in the house versus the top four were coming from other previous relationships and a mix, that the two of you would have bonded and been the closest when it looked like it was starting out that way. And then rift happened, it shifted. And so I think your dad is asking, do you feel like is that any of that due to us being a blended family?
And then also where it is, and the reason I'm asking that, because you made your rounds with Jayla, with Jaylyn, with Dominic, and then we all know Eric is Eric. But I didn't.
But y'all talking.
Okay, let's not say Eric is Eric, like Eric just suck as a sibling.
Right.
My brother's
Eric
a good brother.
Yeah.
Y'all better not say nothing about him. Okay.
I don't know why you go into all of that.
me and Eric never really bonded as well as Eric and Gabby.
Oh yeah, we know that Eric is Gabby's favorite. We know
Right.
that.
And I think
She said no.
I think it would have.
First take. I'm Gabby's favorite.
Anyway, moving right along.
I think it definitely played a part because I mean, when I was a kid, it felt like Gabby as a upper four got along a lot better than me and everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So I think subconsciously I was envious of that. And then in middle school and high school, she just became the social butterfly with friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I would most of the time just spend my Friday nights at home doing homework and eating candy and watching movies with Malachi. And then,
Shouts out Malachi.
Mm-hmm. Woof woof.
I mean, over time, it just got to a point where, like, I honestly wouldn't do anything to aggravate Gabby because I felt like I was always going to lose the argument because Jayla would come in to support her anyway for whatever reason.
You want to know why?
Sure.
Because you're setting a precedent for how other people is going to treat her.
Ooh,
And you're her brother.
clock it.
So she can't come to you because I feel like I can't come to my brothers to protect me if I need them to. Because I don't feel like they'll protect me.
That's a good point. That's
So I'm
very
going to always stick up for Gabby, but I always tell Gabby when she's wrong. But I would never want her to be in a situation where you're the first person she's able to call and she can't because she don't feel like you would protect her, support her. You would make her feel like it's her fault. Even if it is her fault. Do that at home, but like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm always going to, and even if she's tweaking with you, I'm always be like, no, Gabby, because if it was a situation where you needed her help and she's tweaking with you, you can't call her. You know what I'm saying? That's just my...
No, that's very good adult sisterly advice. Very good.
Well, and that's good. that's a takeaway for being in a place of desiring to have real bonds.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to be bonded with your siblings in spite of them being your half chicken nugget siblings. Right. And so that's real. Yeah. That's real. That's awesome. But see, perspective, right? Perspective.
For me though, it just felt like
we were ganging up on you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so that made me even more mad. Mm-hmm. But after a while, like, I just come to terms with being the bad guy. So I wouldn't even purposely try to aggravate her anymore. But sometimes she would just be tweaking with me for whatever reason. And then me still being angry at the world, I would take it out on her when, you know, I shouldn't and I know better. And then it just
Have you ever apologized to Gabby for that? Have you ever had a one-on-one with Gabby and sat down and talked through this to get to the other side of it, like for real, for real?
No, because she never wanted to hear any of my BS anymore. BS.
Well, perhaps you should initiate that opportunity.
I've tried plenty of times. But, you know,
unfortunately, Gabby is Tyrone.
Yeah,
so just
you know, just the fact that for years we've been at each other's throats, I guess she just doesn't want to hear any of it anymore. And like back in high school, towards the end, when like to this day, people think I, you know, was being mean to her just to be mean to her. But towards the end, I was just like, no, like I actually genuinely care for her, and I understand she's my sister, and I want the best for her. And me trying to be a good older brother, I would be like, no, you shouldn't do this, and no, you shouldn't be drinking alcohol or taking drugs or, you know, doing the stuff that you're doing, because at the end of the day, like if you're driving and there's, you know, whatever in the car and you get pulled over, Popo is going to be like, oh, it's yours. And anybody else's is yours. So it's just like.
Yeah, I'm just saying at the end of the day, part of what we want other people to learn, that again, you have to talk to yourself first and think through stuff yourself. I just would encourage you never to give up as far as, and you know, a lot of times, and we've experienced this multiple times already, like doing this podcast, that we've been a family for 22 years now. Mm-hmm. And there are things and perspectives and pieces of information that we never knew prior to sitting down and just having these reality conversations, right? For the sake of helping other people, which winds up helping us first. So I would just encourage you to make sure that you don't ever, you try it again, Sam, right? Mm-hmm. Like you, Gab, let's have a conversation. Let's talk about, you know, I just want to, because nobody's promised tomorrow. We're not promised later today.
Right.
We're not promised tomorrow. We're not promised none of it. And if I could relate anything to my kids, it's
I'm gonna start squeezing the tears out of you first.
Do the best you can to be in a good spot with love and relationship with your family.
Because I'm not gonna lie.
Because you only got one of them.
We keep what?
You can try to reach across the aisle all day, but if she doesn't want to hold out her hand as well, it's never gonna work.
Well, you can't say never.
Let me interject. So me and Dom, we was like this.
Oh yeah, I remember this. Well, you know, y'all was gonna come back from that.
And neither one of us were mature enough to be where we was at. Mm-hmm. But we definitely played the blame game. And it basically created a rift in our relationship so big that like literally I would cry myself to sleep because Dom was my best friend. And
better get the tissue.
I better not.
You better not get the tissue.
Better not. Sucker me. Anyways, because I ain't no sucker.
Oh, what you trying to say? Right.
So, no, yeah, me and Dom, we were thick as thieves. Like when he was at McKendree, I was at Carbondale, we would be turned. Like the greatest times, and then we moved in together and we just had the greatest riff, right? And it was like we don't have the same relationship at all anymore. And it breaks my heart. And every time I talk to him, I just like be wanting to cry and I miss my brother. And like we've had this conversation. But again, we get older, our lives change, lifestyles change, family, all that stuff, right? I don't ever want you and Gabby to be how me and Dom was. I don't want you to get to a place that me and Dom got to, because me and Dom didn't talk for like a year.
Yeah.
And that was the hardest year of my entire life.
Yeah.
While you and Gabby, y'all's situation's a little different, just because it's like a sibling rivalry situation. But I'm not going to say y'all need to have a conversation while y'all are on break. I will say, though, that as you guys get older, and as you guys go through your lives and experience different things, you'll come back together and you'll have that conversation when both of you are in a space of knowing that this is my brother, this is my sister, I love him, I love her, and everything's cool. I don't think Gabby hates you, and I really don't think that Gabby, and I didn't say that you said she hates you, but I also don't think that Gabby is like, I don't want to talk to you, like, we're not going to have that conversation. But I do genuinely feel like after you've picked someone's scab off so many times, they just going to be like, all right, let it be a scar. We ain't got to deal with it, But she does have to be a little bit more open, I guess, to the conversation. I don't think that she's not open. I just feel like you having a conversation with her, you got to show up or put up.
Yeah. So as we prepare to land this plane, I just want to remind you and your sister, as she listens, hopefully she listens to this podcast, but I want you to remember that I told you both. I want you to remember that I told you. They're laughing because she's off camera, but still, I want to remind you both of something that I said prior to you both entering college, that life goes by fast.
It does.
And you're finishing you're done halfway with your junior year in college. She's in the middle of her sophomore year. You both go to different schools that are far apart. She wasn't here for Thanksgiving. You were. You just happened to both be here for Christmas. But life is going to happen. You may do an internship somewhere. She may do one somewhere. You may not come home for the summer. And before you know it, you've got 2 kids. She's got 2 kids. She lives in Canada. You live in Africa. And the times that you interact are going to become they're going to become limited. And so it's important, especially as we're all growing older, to make certain that you guys are on the same page and that as Jayla said, that she's there for you and you're there for her. Because the hard thing is, one day Mom and I are going to be gone. One day some of your siblings are not going to be here. And it may just be the 2 of you. And I would hate for them to make a Lifetime movie about the 2 of you and how you have this rift and your children will never get to play together and your spouses will never get to meet. So while you've grown and she's grown, as Jayla said, and I agree with her, it may not happen today. It may not need to be today. But at some point in our lifetime when we're still around, I would hope and pray that the iCarly moments come back. So that's all I have. I appreciate this opportunity to sit down with my baby boy, even though his line starts back here.
You are foul for that. Get off this
You can't be talking.
You can't handle the truth. So anyway.
Dude's line start back here. He's talking about your line.
It's up.
We'll summarize with this.
Yeah, let's sit her on the
ground. Our audience, the point of this conversation today is, another aspect of blended families. For everybody may not have yours, mine, and ours. They may just have yours and mine,
yours, yeah.
or you know what I'm saying. And again, we use those terms to just provide clarity on the type of blended family you are. But we encourage you, as we've talked about before, to talk to your kids, talk to your kids, talk to your kids. Be intentional about assessing the health of your family in a way that allows your kids to be honest and tell you what's really going on.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think that because you're happy, because you're newly married, or you've got, this second chance at a family, or, first chance at a family, whichever it may be, whatever your ordeal, do not fool yourself into thinking that that's where each one of your kids are. Had I known and understood how introverted my son was, had I known and understood, realistically, that he felt unseen. And again, as we've discussed, he's not the only kid of ours that felt unseen.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't mean that you guys are bad parents.
And I appreciate that.
I know that affects y'all. You guys are not.
I wasn't even going to cry till you said that.
I'm
See,
sorry.
I was good.
But no, this is real. And you guys are not bad parents.
Not at all.
And I need you guys to really understand that what people see in us is because of you guys. Every kid is going to have that, oh my God, Mom, I hate you. I want to move out. You suck. I know. We all have our moments. And you've had your moments when you were a kid where you felt unseen. And so did you. It's normal. You're not bad people. You raised us. And the saying that lives in my brain, you did the best you could with the information that you had at the time.
We did.
And I want to land this plane. Ooh, y'all see how I took over? I'm kidding. But I do want to say, you guys, adding on to mom's point, I'm gonna really let her land the plane. But adding on to mom's point about knowing your children, make sure you guys carve out time once a week. Something I wish we would have still did with it. Getting to know your family. So the game of high-low. The highest point in your day and the lowest point in your day. Even though you feel like that's insignificant, that tells you the mental state of everyone at that table. Mm-hmm. And you are able to have side conversations after that or whatever you feel. But having a high-low situation where you say, today I had a great day because I saw a parrot and it was the coolest thing. But I really had my lowest point today was the fact that, Mom told me I couldn't wear this blue shirt, and I really wanted to wear this blue shirt because I thought it looked cool. And she said, no, you look crazy. You know what I'm saying? But that will allow you to have some sense of where your family member is at. So even if it's not a high-low situation, being able to once a week have check-ins with your family members, so that one, that helps create a stronger bond, but two, so no one is feeling like they're missing stuff when it comes to each other and they feel safe. Everyone feels safe enough to be like, you know what? Let me go to my brother. Let me go to my mom and dad because I'm going through this,
Short runway.
I'm sorry.
No, all good. That summarized it well. Again, I think we always want to make sure that we end with the takeaways and what's the point, right? We're not just up here just talking to be talking. We are hoping that sharing the realities of our family helps other families. Yes, our primary target audience is blended families because they're so prevalent, but any family can benefit from understanding that if you are intentional about doing things to create healthy family structure, it will help your family be healthy. Imagine that, right? And so to Jayla's point, I know that there's a million things going on, but still make time as best as you can, 4 or 5 days out of the week, have dinner together at the dinner table. Your kids are going to grow up and leave, and you're going to miss it. We're living that, right? Play high-low at the dinner table. That can be each time you're sitting there, right?
Or if you go to McDonald's, play it.
Have a family meeting set with an agenda that allows topics that are going on and gives a safe space for your family, everybody, not just the parents, but your children to be able to express where they're at and what's going on and challenges that they may be experiencing so that they know that you care, that everybody knows that everybody cares. And even in the middle of all of that, what that will do is that in the midst of what may feel like a complete unsurmountable challenge,
Did you want to say poop show?
No, but and I didn't need that in there because I don't want to cuss. But it may feel like you're going through things that are not that you may not be able to get over. You can, because if you slowly just take it one step at a time and you talk through the stuff and you again get the help that you need.
Yeah.
Get the help that you need. Therapy, counseling. We had spiritual counselors, we had our wise set of folks, and then we had professional clinical counselors that helped us work through hurdles and mountains and bridges that we thought could never be rebuilt. And we were able to do that because we kept at it. So again, be intentional. Mm-hmm. Take these tidbits. Know that each sector or category of child or children in your blended family matters. Mm-hmm. Every person matters, and they need to be seen, they need to be heard, and they need to feel and know that they belong. So that's the point of today. We are grateful and thank you, Dawson, for coming on. And we'd like to have you back. You know, he gets a
free cup and a shirt.
We saying this like he doesn't live here. Right. But we appreciate your transparency. We appreciate your willingness to share who you are and things that you have experienced as a part of this family and what that was to you. And we pray that this has been a blessing to some of y'all out there, and that this will help you be able to do better and become blended and bonded. That's all we got for today. Until next time, remember y'all, blended families matter, right? So, we go social media. Right
Jessica
now, there'll be
Pickens Realities. Go to www.jessicapickens.com. Get a book, prayer journal. Do it with your family. Do it by yourself. Do it with your spouse. Prayer journal gets you through the day. Get your free gifts. Sign up for alerts for when she's speaking. Woo! Woo! When she's speaking, and more videos to come. Oh, last thing. To all the moms and dads out there, to all the siblings, you are loved, you are appreciated, you are wanted, and we are grateful that you're alive. And keep going.
Amen, church.
Like, comment, share, subscribe, turn our post notifications on. We'll be back with another video. Peace.
Deuces.